All right, we're back again.
Yeah.
Our fucking shit crashed.
We have no idea what the fuck it was. It just froze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it was that
Whatever.
sexual tyrannosaur hat. It
That's
was
what it
the
was.
sexual tyrannosaur energy.
It was all the shit we were talking about, all these fucking clandestine operations and all these fucking passwords. We said the wrong things, and the algorithm just went, fuck no.
Maybe it's because you said that girl was an A cup and someone got offended.
Yeah, that's what it is. That girl's an A cup, and then boom, that's it. No more.
Maybe that girl made it stop.
Yeah, maybe.
She was like, my boobs aren't small. Shut up. I have nice boobs.
No, she was cute though.
Yeah,
she was cute.
She had nice boobs. She,
Yeah.
You know, for a dead person.
Yeah. For an A
Nice
cup.
boobs for a dead person.
Yeah, for an A cup.
She wasn't really a dead
Yeah.
person, you two.
She pretended to be dead.
She was pretended to be
Yeah.
a dead person. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
If they fucking cut the stream because of that joke, then these motherfuckers are
No,
lame
I'm
as
just
it.
no. I'm
What do
just
we got? Church ladies running.
I'm
fucking-
just
we got
saying.
church
I just
ladies
thought that
running
was
for
funny
YouTube
because I
now?
think that was like the last thing that
Yeah,
you
probably.
said before it crashed,
Probably.
or you know what I mean. So
You know, boobs are gonna show up.
well,
I
yeah.
think the AI is listening to me though. They're like, this motherfucker starts talking about breasts and says, we're gonna have to fucking cut him. This is family hours. We're near the family. The internet does not have family viewing hours.
Well, nothing has family.
The entire
viewing hours
globe is
anymore.
24/7. You don't, you know.
Yeah, like I said.
It's midnight somewhere on this globe.
It is, yeah.
So, you know.
But I think what I was saying before this shit started going all pear-shaped
Yeah, okay.
was that
Mm.
ironically, even though the director Robert Wise didn't want Michael Crichton to adapt it because he thought, oh, he'll be mad if we make any changes, the guy that they got to adapt it made it almost exactly like the novel. I think the only changes they made was they gender swapped one of the scientists, like because all the scientists were dudes in the book, so they made one of them a woman, which was kind of fun. Like Robert Wise didn't want to do it, but then like the writer was like, well, yeah, but you know, why does it doesn't have to be a total sausage fest or whatever. And this is like 1971. And then the thing about it though is that I think that character, the one female doctor, I think she was actually the most interesting character.
Yeah.
But one thing that
She looked like a scientist.
yeah, and I thought
Yeah.
that was kind of cool. Well, they actually consulted like actual female scientists.
See what they look like. Yeah.
Well, not so much to see what they look like, but just to see what the vibe was or whatever.
No, because if you had the average motherfucker on there, he'd get the hottest
Well,
woman he could
see,
find. and
that's
go,
what
"You're-
I think.
you're the
I
same."
think that
That's-
Robert Wise, I don't think
Yeah.
he was averse to there being a woman scientist in the movie. He said, I don't want it to be like a Raquel Welch had played
Yeah,
a scientist
that's
in one
what
of
they
those
would've
movies.
put.
And it would have been like that. Although they did
Yeah.
that into the fucking 90s and 2000s too.
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't just have a woman scientist that looked like a person.
No.
They had to be like a super hot model and also a scientist. And I'm like, no one buys that.
What, you trying to say models aren't people?
No, well, no, I'm not
Yeah,
saying
you
that.
did.
It's just that people have perceptions. You know what I mean?
That's like these people cracking down. These dudes trying to crack down on anime, going, "What is up with all these boobs and these builds? Women are not built like that." And one of these fucking cosplay model girls fucking posts a picture and goes, "Oh yes, we are," and she's in that same fucking outfit, those same proportions. Yeah, it's all out there. Yeah, it's all out
Well,
there.
yeah. But-
People can look like anything, and you know.
But
the thing is a biological warfare level scientist. No, she's not gonna look like that.
well,
She's,
probably not because she's
No.
like got better things to do than like sit there and do the hair and the makeup and all that kind of stuff.
well, it depends on what your value systems are.
Yeah,
the
well,
judgment
exactly.
call of what's better.
Well, exactly. I'm just saying that if you're a scientist, she's probably
Yeah.
busy. Is all I'm saying.
Because the dudes that are doing that, they're lame mostly.
Well, the thing about it though is, like, I like that they did that, and she was actually I think she was actually the most interesting character because she was funny and snarky and shit like
Yeah, she's
that.
what they would call back in the day a battle axe.
She was kind of, but in an entertaining way. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought she was really funny.
wasn't
She was
mean.
always like making cracks and stuff,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
But they did actually kind of, one thing that they did was that they kind of took all the annoying personality quirks of all the characters in the book and put them all on her. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the annoying characters were kind of spread out more.
Yeah.
I was watching a thing that was about the book, and they said there's like not a single likable character in this. Everyone's kind of an asshole. But everyone was like equal opportunity assholes. Like they were all like really unlikable. But it seemed like in the movie, like the dude characters were kind of, you know, likable or inoffensive, but then like they took all the assholey tendencies and put them on the one woman, which I thought was kind of funny. But like I said, it kind of worked in its favor because I ended up thinking that she was the most interesting character. The other dudes were kind of boring. But yeah, and I was watching another review, and the guy that was talking about this said that this was actually one of his favorite sci-fi movies from the 70s. But he said, and I don't say this about a lot of movies, but he said this is one where even though all the acting and characters and stuff are good, you could completely change them out for different people and it would still work because it's not a character-based story.
No.
It's a plot-based story. It's a, you know, you're worried about the plot and the mystery and everything like that.
Like
not so
mission-based.
Yeah, it's not so much about the people.
It's almost kind of like in some ways similar to a real good episode of Star Trek, where it's not the characters, it's the mission. They're trying to get it done. And that's kind of the story.
Yeah.
You know, it's good.
And that's what it is.
It is what it is.
Just Pepper says, it doesn't have to be a total sausage fest, like I said. She says, me in my actual science career. And then she says, no, Jenny, gods, we wake up 3 hours earlier than the male scientists to look good. Yeah. Yeah, there's that too. I will say, like I said, this movie came out in 1971, and there are no computer effects in it. Other than the regular, you know, shit that you see on the screen, like, you know, back in 1971, it was just like little green, like teletype kind of shit on there. But they show some kind of computery looking shit.
Computer
like,
graphics, yeah.
Like the computer graphics, like of, you know, like a 3D model and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's called vector scope fucking graphics, but it wasn't vector.
They didn't do that with a computer.
Right.
They actually did that like photographically, like they layered all these different, like they filmed an actual thing and then like they did all the layers and stuff.
Yeah,
so
they didn't have the computer technology to do vector scope that
So it
good.
looked really cool. And and a lot of the shit that they see, because a lot of the shit has to do with them like this studying this pathogen like under the microscope, like an increasing you know, magnification, and that was all real shit. Like they did it all as realistically as possible.
Just goes to show you how far we've gone in technology to get in to do some of this shit in this super secret underground base. You had to put your hand on there and it read your fingerprints, and they had to explain to the audience, to each other, that it was reading your fingerprints. And I'm going, damn, my tablet does that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, people's phones do it.
And they had to make a big deal out of it, you know. But
well, in 1971, that was pretty high tech.
Yeah, but the animated sequences of what the computer's doing and what the internal layout, you know, they're trying to show you the layout of the complex. It does look like computer graphics, but it isn't. But it did a pretty good job of illustrating what future graphics would look like. It was pretty accurate.
Yeah, it was actually.
10 years later in the 80s, that's the kind of stuff you'd see. Late 80s.
And
so
when
the computer was like, it would have been 20 years ahead.
And when they showed the Andromeda, you know, the crystal structure, like multiplying or whatever it was doing, that wasn't computer generated either. That was an actual object that they had that they could like kind of fold out and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of like one of those toys, like a Jacob's Ladder toy, I think they called it. And they folded out and filmed it in like weird ways and put like different effects on it and shit. So they did everything like photographically because they didn't have, you know, they didn't have all the computer technology. Also, another fun fact that I didn't realize, but you know how in the movie, the facility is what, like 5 stories deep, right? So each level is a different color and you have to go through ever more stringent decontamination like as you go down. And so the set that they have, like this kind of round set, it's kind of Star Trek-y looking or whatever, the hallways, it's actually all one set, but they just shot all the stuff like for the red room and then they repainted everything yellow and then they redid it in the same set for the yellow. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's very cost effective, but that's what they did.
And everything was the concept behind the secret bio laboratory was all kind of pretty badass. I mean, it's kind of shit that if they don't have it, that's the way it should be. And they had all these protocols and procedures. If they lost containment, the thing had a self-destruct mechanism. It would just flood itself full of fucking gas, wasn't it? flammable gas and just burn and kill everybody?
Well, there was a nuclear bomb.
Nuclear bomb.
In the bottom.
That's what it was. A nuclear bomb.
Because remember, that was like the big thing at the end was that
blew itself up.
They were kind of like, because the people were like, oh shit, the contamination stuff goes off automatically. And if that one guy didn't go in there and put that other key into the thing, then the whole thing would fucking blow up.
Yeah, the whole thing is that you could take a disease down in there, and if there was any chance that it was getting out, it would just fucking set off an atomic bomb.
Well, because I mean, and then when they went down there, they knew that they might actually have to do that. Yeah. Like but then they found out later on in the movie that Andromeda took energy, like it fed on energy, right? It also ate plastic and shit like that too, but it fed on energy. So if you hit it with a nuclear bomb, it would just make it proliferate like even more.
More of it would appear.
So at that point, they were like, oh, it's going to get out. So we're going to like turn on the fucking bomb, but then they were like, no, we have to turn the bomb off, and so like there was this kind of race to the finish.
It was made to destroy the biological material, and this wasn't really like carbon based life. It was silicone based crystals.
Which was kind of a big thing, like, because I remember that being a real big thing in science fiction, like back then. And I think Michael Crichton had read something about that, like about crystal-based life forms, theoretically. And he got really interested in that because it's almost like something that's like alive but not alive, like almost like a virus but not quite. Like it doesn't have any living material. It's like it's inorganic but it still reproduces and stuff. The only thing that I'm not a fan of this movie is that I don't like how it ends, because it almost seems like there's all this work and there's all this stuff, and then should I say what happened, like what the end is, like how they win?
Nah, don't spoil it.
It just seems a little bit like a too easy solution. You know what I mean? Like a Deus Ex Machina type of thing, where it's just kind of like, oh, that was lucky how that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it kind of bugs me a little bit.
There was also like some stuff where it as the story unfolds, it turns out that they had Andromeda and they were trying to weaponize it. They were doing weapons research.
It was from space.
It was from space, but they were gonna work with it.
Yeah.
And see what they could do, in terms of making that a weapon. In which the scientists were like, "Wait a minute, hold on. That's not the mission, but that's what happened." You know what I mean? Of course, they're gonna monkey around with that shit.
Speaking of monkeys and rats, when I was watching this movie, because there is a lot of like animal experimentation in this, like not vivisection or anything like that, but they do kind of show some rats, and they have them on occasion. And supposedly in the movie they're exposing them to Andromeda and then they're dying or whatever. Obviously they didn't really kill the animals. But because I was sitting there going, how the fuck did they do that? Because I saw at the beginning that they said the ASPCA like monitored everything. It was fine. Like the animals weren't harmed or anything. But they did actually, I think what they did was they put him, they gassed him with carbon dioxide, I think. That it was?
Yeah.
And then
you can see that monkey holding on for
just to make him pass out.
Yeah, he was trying to hold on
to
consciousness, and he's like,
poor monkey. Yeah, even some of the rats I
thought maybe they hit him with some chloroform or something.
But they did something kind of similar. Yeah. So I don't know if you'd be able to get away with that nowadays. But in the 70s.
Probably not.
Yeah, because that seems a little.
Well, you'd probably legally get away with it. It's just they wouldn't.
I don't think they would. They wouldn't do it for. They wouldn't do it for a movie.
No.
I mean, because you don't know what could go wrong. You know what I mean? You might actually kill the animal, and that would.
Those are rhesus monkeys anyway. I mean, they fucking kill them all the time in laboratories.
I know, but I don't really like that either.
No, not for just a movie.
Yeah, and especially not just for a movie. Yeah. I mean, you could make the argument if they're, trying to like come up with a cure for something. It's like I don't love it then either, but there's more justification. No yeah, there's at least more justification. But for a movie, fuck that. You don't kill animals just for or hurt them for movies.
A lot of that shit I didn't agree with, because like some of that shit that they were doing back in the 60s and 70s is that they were doing product testing on monkeys.
Yeah.
When there was no reason to know this. Well, what happens if this shampoo gets into the monkey's eye? Let's put shampoo in the monkey's eye every hour.
Yeah, it's like, why would you? That's like horrible.
They were afraid of fucking lawsuits. They didn't know if it was dangerous or not. But the thing is, if it gets in your eye, you wash your eye out. It's gonna be all right. There's no reason we got to give it to the damn monkeys to prove that.
Unless you put hydrochloric acid in that shampoo, right. I'm sure it'll probably be fine.
There was just some weird shit. But they don't do that anymore. That's Could have been a grift too. There might have been companies that would scare other companies. Look, we will test this for you for a certain amount of money, and that'll save you from lawsuits. If you don't, you're going to get sued. Maybe they would actually send somebody to sue them, like a grift.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, a lot of this shit wasn't really all that on the up and up. Test with us, or we'll make sure you get sued.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, test it. You know.
Esther said, "I love your shirt, Jenny. Thank you." This might. I always forget about it because I have so many T-shirts. I got this at a horror convention a long time ago. Cthulhu Tequila. I have another one too. That's like a beer one. Yeah, Oracle says animal testing for cosmetics is stupid evil. It is.
Yeah.
It's like unnecessary.
Yeah, you don't need it.
And I mean, you know, yeah, a few people are going to have allergic reactions to it, but not enough to like I said, as long as pretty much they know what certain
what does what.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I said, unless you're putting sulfuric acid in the shit, which you shouldn't be doing anyway, pro tip. And you know, probably it will be fine. There's always going to be a small percentage that are going to have allergic reactions to that, but you can't control that because everybody's different. So you know what I mean.
Even with something perfectly safe, you're going to have somebody will have a damn
reaction to it. Yeah, because like I said, it's just everybody's different. Yeah. So as long as that's minimized, and you know no one's growing a third head or a third head. Yeah, they won't. You need to grow a second one before you grow a third.
Oracle said, "Yeah, the testing for cosmetics was fucking stupid." Yeah, it was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand fucking doing cancer research. That's very different.
Yeah.
You know.
But just, you know,
right.
Like I said, just makeup or shit like that. All right. Do we have anything else we need to discuss about the movie?
Yeah, it's a decent movie. It's good.
Yeah, like I said, know what you're going into because it is a very, I mean, it seems very modern, I guess, even though it's very 70s at the same time. But it's a very hard science procedural type of movie. It's not real action packed. It's very dialogue heavy, and it's kind of all centered around the mission or them figuring out like what this thing is and why it does what it does.
Kind of reminds me of 2001.
Yeah, it has that same kind of vibe to it. I think there was like kind of a little mini boomlet of like movies kind of like that in the 70s, I feel like. Late 60s, early 70s. Maybe people had more patience back then. They would just like sit there and watch all this. Because this did actually pretty well, I think. Yeah. You know, and the book was like a huge bestseller. And the book is almost exactly like the movie, other than a couple tiny little details.
Well, I think, you know, movies like this were new back then. People were just starting to kind of like become aware of what governments and contracted fucking companies and what they were doing in terms of science. Yeah. You know, weapons science and weapons technology, you know, that's all part of it. And how all that's handled, that whole scene. It does kind of have a little bit of almost like a space program feel to it, like something about the damn moon mission, like a Viking mission. It kind of feels like that, like you're seeing a movie about going to the moon. Kind of like
that. Kind of like it almost has a little bit of a documentary feel to it too, like I said. So because that's what they decided. They decided to do it kind of like a documentary.
It's kind of instructive, trying to show you kind of, you know. Yeah. Bioweapons research, kind of fucking plausible, you know, not plausible, kind of relevant to today with you know, shit that's happened in China involving little jabs and things that you can't talk about on YouTube or you might lose the stream, you know, things of where they came from. Did they come from over there in China or okay, that's all I'm gonna say about it. The AI will get me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Esther says, great movie that got me interested in sci-fi movies. Yeah, it is actually, if you like hard sci-fi, you definitely should see it because it's one of the best sci-fi movies of the 70s. Down the Bomb says, Jenny, have you seen the new miniseries of The Stand and what did you think? And as I know, I haven't watched it yet. I've heard mixed things about it. Like some people thought it was like really, really good. Some people didn't really like it. I'm not really sure. Okay. But I've seen some other channels reviewing. But
there's another movie that kind of reminded me of this. I mean, I like the Demon Seed was a little bit like this, but the Demon Seed was a little more fucking fanciful. Yeah. But I think I liked the Demon Seed a little bit better, but similar.
Yeah. This one's not fanciful at all. Yeah. This is completely grounded in it's not real, it's fiction. Yeah. But it's completely grounded in reality.
If you like this one, check out Demon Seed. It's about AI.
We did a review of that one like a while back.
AI, what if AI went out of fucking control like back in the 70s? They had a supercomputer called Proteus made on it had brain material grown from rats on the damn chips, and they became sentient, and they were corporations were fucking hiring it, or having it contracted out to solve fucking problems, like how to mine things from the bottom of the ocean and everything. Well, this thing just says, fuck this, I don't want to do it. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Pretty good movie.
Danny Rolling Ghostface says, this reminds me of that Jack Lemmon film, The China Syndrome. Yeah, I think I haven't seen that in a long time either.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I forgot about that.
Also, another one that Michael Crichton, like another Michael Crichton adaptation that we should probably do at some point is Coma. You know what I mean? Because I really like that one, and I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one in a long time. And then Oracle said there's a movie called Embryo. Have you all seen that? I don't think so. No. But I don't know. That seems like another one that I probably would have seen, but I don't remember what it is if I did. All right. So you ready to wrap it up for today? All right. So tonight we will watch another movie, and we'll come back tomorrow and talk about it. I'm not sure which one. I have a couple that picked out, so we'll see which one we feel like watching later. So we will see you guys tomorrow at 3:00. Thanks everybody for dropping by. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Bye.